going to run for the first down, and still on his feet. RG3 is going to outrace everybody. Can't wait.
Everybody get up.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Kevin at 7 with Kevin Bartnett. I got a good show for you tonight. I want to talk a lot about what's going on in baseball. There's a lot of recent activity going on with transactions-wise. The Yankees made a big splash last night. We'll get into that. Break down this week's NFL games. And talk about the Rangers, who made a big move today for the future of their hockey club. But right now, I want to just talk about what's going on in the MLB off-season right now. Excuse me, not postseason, off-season. The New York Yankees have made two big splashes. They made one good signing, I thought, in Brian McCann. I thought they overpaid for him a little bit. For a couple of weeks ago, they signed Brian McCann is a perennial all-star catcher. He's been an Atlanta Brave his whole career. He's been a very good hitter, good lefty hitter, not too injury-prone. But he'll do wonders in Yankee Stadium, especially in that hitter-homer-friendly ballpark. They signed McCann for 5 years, $85 million. Questionable, maybe a little too much money per year. But nonetheless, that's a good guy to get for your team. He's a good guy. He's a little bit of a hothead, as you see. He's not very. He has no problem getting into people's faces. If he thinks you're showing them up when you hit a home run. But good signing for the Yankees. I like that one a lot for the Yankees. And he gets them out of my Mets' division. He's been a Met killer since he's been with the Braves. So they get him out of my division. Good for you, Yankees. And then there was obviously about a week and a half ago where the Detroit Tigers and Texas Rangers made a huge trade where the Tigers traded Prince Fielder for Ian Kinsler. Straight up. I honestly thought that right now it benefits Texas more because you got Beltre and Fielder. It's a really good 3-4 you have right there. Fielder is going to bat third from what I heard, and Beltre will bat fourth. I think it should be the other way around because Beltre is definitely much more of an average hitter. And when I mean average hitter, batting average hitter, than Prince Fielder. I think Fielder could protect Beltre better than Beltre protecting Fielder, but nonetheless, they're both really good hitters. Texas, now that allows Texas to play Jurgensen Profar at second base, trading Kinsler. I think in the future, however, as I said, that trade affects Detroit better in the long run, because Prince Fielder still has 7 years left on that contract. He signed a 9-year, $214 million deal. And honestly, getting out of Prince Fielder is never bad, but he's a big man, and when he's not going to be able to play first base for much longer. What people always respect about Prince Fielder is the man plays close to almost every single game. He is never injured, and he's a big man though. And unless he cuts the weight down, he's not going to be in shape really to play the field very soon. Right now, it's a good move, but in about 3-4 years, when they still have to pay him a lot of money, and he's got plenty of years left on that contract, and he had a down year last year, but Texas still pulled off the trade, so kudos to Texas, because Ian Kinsler was a good ball player. I think he's a guy who could play another 5 to 6 years, no problem. Be a good quality second baseman, which is what he has been his whole career. And him and Iglesias up the middle is going to be. You're not going to get any balls. If you hit a ball up the middle, they're probably going to get it. That's going to be great fielding middle infield. And this just gives Detroit some room to sign a guy next season, and it gives them the salary to sign Cabrera to an extension when he's a free agent after next season, not this upcoming season. And Max Scherzer, who is a free agent after this upcoming season. So I think that's a fair trade. Now, last night the New York Yankees made a huge splash in free agency, giving a 7-year deal, $153 million. $153 million to a former Boston Red Sox, Jacoby Ellsbury. I don't know what to say, honestly. Jacoby Ellsbury, when he first came in, was one of my favorite ball players. Hands down, one of my favorite ball players. I mean, he's the definition of what a stud is. He was the 1 year the year Red Sox collapsed in the regular season in 2011. They cost Jacoby Ellsbury the MVP that year. It single-handedly cost Jacoby Ellsbury the MVP. The man can hit. He can play center field excellent. And he steals a lot of bases. He's total package as a ball player. But the one knock on Jacoby Ellsbury is the man is always injured. And yet the Yankees gave $153 million to him? Now, there's two things that make me question this. Was this a message to Cano saying, okay, hey, we're not paying you, goodbye? Or is this a shot at the Red Sox saying, hey, we're here to stay around? The Red Sox just won the World Series, and to tell you the truth, the Red Sox, they just let him walk. I knew they weren't going to re-sign him from the beginning. I knew it. You can get about similar production, similar, not as good, but this man stays healthy. Similar production from Jackie Bradley Jr. for, and I found this out today, literally 2% of what Jacoby Ellsbury makes. Jackie Bradley Jr. makes 2% of what Jacoby Ellsbury makes. So, this is a good move by the Red Sox. They did a lot of it without him to begin with because the man is always injured. I mean, they signed him for 7 years. They'll probably get 3.5. Maybe 3.5 full years at Jacoby Ellsbury. And it hurts me because I'm obviously not the biggest Yankee fan in the world. I am not really a fan of the way the Yankees operate their baseball team because they are very business savvy. I'm not going to say they buy championships because, look, in order to win a championship, you have to buy quote-unquote buy players. To quote Moneyball, are you buying players or are you buying wins? That's the thing. We'll see how this pans out. If Ellsbury is a good player, the Yankees are buying wins then. But I don't agree with that term, buying players. But in order to win, you do have to throw money at players. You absolutely have to. So I don't blame the Yankees for doing that, but just this certain player, absolutely not. If you're gonna throw a lot of money at someone, you should have thrown it at Robinson Cano. This was a huge mistake on the Yankees' part. I think this must be a shot at Boston or something with Cano, honestly, because Cano was a better ball player than Jacoby Ellsbury. I've always thought Cano was a little lazy, but Cano is absolutely more talented. Cano is a better hitter. He just brings more to the team than Ellsbury. Sure, he steals bases, but Cano's not hurt a lot. Ellsbury's just hurt too much to earn a 7-year, $153 million. Even he's really talented, Ellsbury, and like I said, Ellsbury's one of my favorite players, so it's hard for me to knock him. It's hard for me say this about him. Excuse me, but 7 years, $153 million for a guy who's gonna hit. Well, in Yankee Stadium, he's gonna hit. They showed a chart. In Yankee Stadium, he would have hit at least 12 more home runs than what he actually did. His distance, so he's gonna hit home runs in Yankee Stadium. He'll hit 25 home runs in Yankee Stadium probably. His career high is 31. But this man has been nothing more than a 15-homer, 40-50 stolen base guy, drives in about 80 runs a year, and can hit 300. Is that really worth $150 million? No, absolutely not. I think when, the Mets, I mean, believe me, the Mets have been bad for a while, I know that. But when, literally, they paid Marlon Byrd nothing last year. They paid him, what, $1 million, it seemed like? And Marlon Byrd was a tremendous pickup for the New York Mets last year. Was he an All-Star? No. He wasn't. He wasn't even close to being an All-Star. But he was, for the time he was with the Mets, and then who eventually they got him off to Pittsburgh, and they were able to get something out of him, actually. He was spectacular for the Mets last year. He bought a veteran presence. He got the job done. And he got it for under $1 million, I believe. He just wanted a shot. When you read the book Moneyball and you see the movie, you understand that throwing money... The Dodgers, everyone says, the Dodgers. Did the Dodgers win the World Series last year? No. Los Angeles Dodgers did not win the World Series last year. They spent more money than anybody, the Dodgers. They didn't win the World Series last year, though. I think the Boston Red Sox were the perfect example of what happens. You spend money on guys who can get the job done, not top dollar, mid-level dollar. Guys like Shane Victorino, Mike Napoli, Steven Drew. Middle-of-the-road pickups that they know will mesh well with the team and get the job done, that can complement the current pieces that they have on the team, like David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia, and at the time, Jacoby Ellsbury. They got good guys to fit the team. The Yankees are pulling what the Yankees always do. They're just trying to fill their team up with stars. And, okay, if we don't win the World Series, then you're all fired. Or we failed this season. Well, I'm going to be honest here. Yankees they do not have good pitching. Without Mariano Rivera now gone, they do not have as good a bullpen anymore. To tell you the truth, I would not be sure. And they're letting, not only that, they are as absurd amount of money as I think he's asking for, because he's not even worth $200 million. You're going to let your best player walk for a guy who will be on the disabled list for half the season. It's not, you know what? It could be a real popular move, maybe. It's not a popular move amongst Yankee fans because this guy is he's a prodigy of the Red Sox. He's a prodigy of your main rival, and you just gave him $153 million to switch loyalty, which doesn't really work out too well. Look, Johnny Damon was a good player for the Yankees. He was. But Johnny Damon wasn't brought up through the Red Sox. This kid was a first-round pick of the Boston Red Sox, went up through their system, and won 2 World Series with the Red Sox. This is totally different from Johnny Damon. Totally different. And you're going to expect this guy to be an MVP? No, absolutely not. This was a bad baseball decision by the New York Yankees. That's all I have to say about that. Now, moving on to my Mets. The Mets are apparently in talks with Curtis Granderson for a 3-year contract. The Mets want to give out 3 years, but Curtis Granderson is seeking a 4th year. Now, if I were the Mets, I would just say, you know what? Suck it up and pay him. Give him the 4th year. Curtis Granderson, look, he's probably going to be a 230 hitter, 240, and maybe 250 is his ceiling as a hitter. But what Curtis Granderson brings, he's a lefty bat, which is what the Mets need. He'll play left field. The Mets, I think Juan Lagares can be a decent player. I give him a shot. Curtis Granderson can come and play left field right away. The Mets did sign Chris Young, the hitter, who maybe he needed to change the scenery from Oakland and the West Coast in general, from Arizona and Oakland. Maybe the Mets could be a good team for him. And he'll play right field. They already have said apparently he's a starting right fielder. So I'm excited to see what goes on with the Granderson negotiations, but the Mets have been doing nothing in free agent wise for too long now. They've been doing absolutely nothing. You can get a good team, a great clubhouse guy, absolutely great clubhouse guy in Curtis Granderson, and a guy that can really actually, for once, it seems like in the Sandy Alderson era, protect David Wright. Protect that man. That man has been hitting number 3. He's had Ike Davis, who strikes out every at-bat, behind him, and then he'll have, whenever Ike Davis gets sent down and gets hurt, Lucas Duda, who hits 200. You had Marlon Byrd for a little bit, and you saw the results. Once the Mets got rid of Marlon Byrd in September, Wright struggled. So, and Marlon Byrd didn't even start playing every day until like June. He was not an everyday player until like June. So, he was very good for the Mets, though. So, this is a move I think the Mets have to make. Great clubhouse guy, and he's a good ball player. And he'll protect David Wright if they slot him in a batting 4th. This is a move the Mets should do. And I say give him the 4 years because, look, the Mets aren't going to do anything next year. With Matt Harvey out, the Mets have no shot at doing anything. But in 2015, when Matt Harvey will be back, and I think when Matt Harvey does come back, he will be Matt Harvey again. I am fully confident in that. Because Matt Harvey is the definition of a stud. So, I'm fully confident in the New York Mets in 2015. Which is why I say you can get maybe 3 good years out of Granderson. Give him, maybe even pay him top dollar this year. So down the road, give him a front-loaded contract. So pay him the most money this year. So in the future, and then when they're going to be better, his contract won't be as much. I say front-load his contract right now when he'll still be good, and then maybe when they're going to be better in 2015. When Noah Syndergaard will be ready, the Mets will have the second coming of the big 3 with Harvey, Wheeler, and Syndergaard. Mets will be better in 2015, but when they're ready to be real contenders, and you can have a Curtis Granderson on your team for not top dollar, this is a move the Mets should absolutely do, and just give him the 4th year. You've done nothing for too long in free agency. This is a move you have to make right now. That's all I have to say about the baseball offseason. We'll be right back, talk a little bit about my upcoming NFL schedule, and then we'll get into some hockey after. I have a lot of things to say about my New York Rangers, but thank you all for tuning in, everybody. I'll be right back after the break.
Hi, this is David Wright, and you're listening to WICR.